It's the Slam Dunk.
Now, it is the Slam Dunk, and last week I spent 2 days down a rabbit hole. Now, I didn't tell you about this, but I spent 2 days down a rabbit hole, and I didn't really inform you of it. But Sean Plunket from online Talkback show The Platform rang me and asked me if I wanted to do 2 days filling in for Michael Laws on his 10 till 1 p.m. talk program. Now, I was at first a bit hesitant about this, the platform set up by my mate Plunkey after the COVID lockdowns and the Wellington protest, and very much full of sort of these rabid anti-vaxxers, and if you weren't with them, you were against them, and they thought they lack tolerance. They were unnecessarily aggro, misogynistic, racist. They hate everyone. They're identified as mainstream media, whatever it is. And that was me, you see. So I took a giant leap of faith and said, yes, to Plunky. And I spent the rest of the day wondering what I had got myself into. I hadn't really listened to it before, and I was just relying on either what I'd heard from others or my own prejudice. And the night before I was due on air, Plunky posted on Facebook that I would be filling in for Michael Laws. And that set things off. Hundreds and hundreds of comments filled the Facebook site before I went in there the next day. Here's what they said. One guy said, Duncan Garner used to talk a lot of common sense and wasn't afraid to speak his mind as much as he was allowed to. Well, it'll be interesting to see how he goes. Used to enjoy listening to him on the AM show, but not when he teamed up with Tova. That's what someone said. Duncan on, that's unfortunate, said Dean. Oh, that's nice. Another wrote, woke wanker. Another said, wasn't he married to Joanna Forbes? He can't be trusted, really. That's me, actually. Really? Okay, I'll listen live. I didn't mind him a few years ago, but I haven't listened to him lately, said Joe. It'll be interesting to see if he truly is woke, or will he speak what he really thinks, says Brett. Woke, said John. What's woke line? What is it? Oh, my God, this isn't April the 1st, is it? No way, I'm listening. Bad move. I'd prefer John Banks. God, John Banks, says Steve Cox. Great choice, said Raywin. I really enjoy Michael, but Duncan will bring a lot to the table in his absence. So there was a bit of toing and froing, all this sort of thing. Some people were for it, some were against it. Go for it, Duncan. I enjoy your contribution to common sense, said another. So there was plenty of feedback. Then there was this one. All he needs is a huge green ticky, and he could claim to be Indigenous Māori. Where'd that come from? It may help if he changed his name to, say, Rangi or something similar. What's that? This is the sort of thing you're dealing with, right? So I'm heading in there the following day. Glenn said, I thought he was going left-tard. Has been going that way on his podcast. Well, thanks for listening to the podcast. So it's all over the show, this feedback. Russell Spate says he's going to have to lift his game and do some honest reporting. No more bullshit, says Russ. So these are the people that line up to listen to this, the callers. So you get the tone of the people we're dealing with. Anyway, this is Talkback, and it's full of rabid people from all sides and nothing I haven't encountered before. So I thought, okay, I'm open to this. Of course we are. We've got an open line here, right? So let me hear your arguments. So I went into the office, and I was wanting people to have facts well constructed, because they always win the day. None of this name-calling and crap like that. Grown men who have emotional issues and can't keep their words in check and their emotions in check. That's what I thought I was going to be dealing with. And it's true the platform is dominated by some pretty angry men and women, those who believe if you're not like them, then you are a woke socialist, a no-hoper and a bludger who is hopelessly pro-welfare, pro-Māori, pro-Jacinda and pro-mainstream media who spread lies about the vaccine. So this is what you're dealing with these people. But to their credit, they're also a broader church than I'd realised, and they don't get credit for this. No one is blocked from coming on. They're not all like that. And many, many fence-sitters and moderates rang me, emailed me and texted and asked questions which were reasonable. I thought they're quite reasonable in the end, and you can cope with this stuff. I've been abused by professionals all my life. And this audience was smart enough to realise that they want more voices, not less. And there's no point operating in an echo chamber where people just nod along and eventually nod off. For Talkback to work, you need voices, lots of voices, and from all sides. And slowly Sean's getting that, I reckon. And good on him. Good on him. He took a risk. Others texted in and said, give me my own afternoon talk show. So do this in the morning, then talk later in the afternoon. Which Sean said, sure, but the place is still losing money, so we need a sponsor. This is what the media is now. You need sponsorships. You need money, so it doesn't cost them. And he's looking at that. Or you could ring right now, 0800 863 293, and that's what you can do. You can talk here. This is Talkback as well. It's what we're doing here. It's what we've put ourselves on the line for. So after 2 days, I thoroughly enjoyed tussling and arguing and listening, and I urge these people to be more tolerant of others, and then others may be more accepting of them. So I'm trying to sort of educate and broaden them. Don't be so angry in your little corner. This them versus us attitude has never been so prevalent in our society. Like America, there are two distinct sides. The hate and the anger appears to have grown over time, hasn't it? Which is sad for countries to be in. At the end of day 2, I went back to Facebook to check on the feedback. Had I convinced anyone? And there was all sorts of feedback that came through. Hundreds and hundreds of comments that were posted on the site. One said, bring back Michael fast. So I said he's still too woke for them. Another said, Duncan did remarkably well. Keep him. And then there was, there was tons of this feedback. Woke, baby, woke, said another. So they hadn't convinced them. I hate that word. Sean, you're riding on his coattails, but he would grow the platform's appeal. Another said that. Another said, keep him on, he's a gem. So all sorts of feedback. Another told me I'd lowered myself to the lunatic fringe. The lunatic fringe. Another said I was a prick. Another said Sean and I were F-wits. So there's all sorts. You take what you like from that. I estimated it was about 70-30 in my favour, which for talk's pretty good actually. But this is the new media. Podcasts like this, online talk like what Sean is doing, this is where it's at now because as you'll see shortly, TV3 doesn't become TV3 anymore, it becomes that new stuff site. Sean has got a backer. Good on him. He's still going 3 years on, and that's no mean feat in today's world. There's no fancy reception area and all these fancy things at all. But it's just an office with the facilities to do talk radio. To those who look down their noses at him, I regard them as elitists, a bit out of touch, and sadly lacking in tolerance with their own prejudices. All voices should be heard in a debate, not just the ones that you agree with. There's lots on that program that you won't agree with, but there's also some moderates as well. I say we need to grow the audience and audiences for that kind of talk because we all need to be educated.
Garner.